America is losing control over raw materials, while China is strengthening its global monopoly. How did this happen? And who will now dictate the rules of the global economy? Let's find out. Ships that for years had carried strategic minerals from Brazil to the United States suddenly changed course. Their new destination? China. This shift was not accidental. It was a carefully calculated strategy, the result of years of preparation and covert efforts, leaving the United States in an extremely vulnerable position. Secret maneuvers in the global game revealed a simple truth. Whoever controls the sources of lithium, nickel, and rare earth metals controls the future of the global economy and the technological revolution in electric vehicles. For years, the United States had been building a dream of dominance in the electric vehicle industry. Billions of dollars were invested in startups, gigafactories were constructed, and at the heart of every strategy was one goal: to surpass China. But while endless debates about tariffs, quotas, and sanctions raged in Washington, Beijing methodically strengthened its position, seizing the raw material base in critically important countries. Investments in ports, railways, logistics centers, and mining sites in Brazil were not just commercial deals. They were a deliberate, targeted consolidation of influence. China was not merely buying resources, it was buying the future. Today, Brazil's Lithium Valley operates in the interests of Chinese battery giants. Nickel, which was once destined for Detroit, now flows to Shenzhen and other industrial centers in China. The reasons are obvious: transaction speed, supply reliability, and minimal bureaucracy. Meanwhile, U.S. tariffs made deals more expensive and complicated. The world has long believed that control over technology represents the pinnacle of power. But without control over raw materials, even the most advanced technologies become useless. America's protectionist policies led to unexpected consequences. In an effort to protect its own industries, the United States effectively pushed Brazil into China's embrace. Tariffs rendered Brazilian resources uncompetitive for American companies. Automotive giants like Tesla, GM, and Ford felt the full weight of the consequences. Disruptions in supply chains led to project freezes, rising production costs, and layoffs, particularly in states with developed industrial sectors. The losses have been catastrophic. The misguided tariff policy has become the greatest act of self-destruction for the American industrial sector in recent decades. Meanwhile, China continued to accelerate. Since 2018, Beijing has invested billions of dollars in the development of Brazil's lithium and nickel deposits, modernization of ports, construction of processing plants, and infrastructure for resource transportation. Today, China has achieved full vertical integration, from raw material extraction to battery production and electric vehicle assembly. And all of this without any reliance on the dollar. Transactions are conducted in yuan and reais. China is not merely buying resources, it is reshaping the world's financial architecture. While the West was busy debating green energy, China quietly built the real infrastructure of the new economy. However, rapid economic growth comes at a price. Behind the export successes hides an environmental catastrophe. Brazil is paying for its economic breakthrough with deforestation of the Amazon rainforest, violations of indigenous rights, and the destruction of ecosystems. According to recent studies, up to 90% of deforestation is linked to the expansion of cattle pastures. Chinese demand for beef, soybeans, lithium, and nickel fuels growing internal pressure on Brazil's natural resources. Mining operations are accompanied by road construction, which in turn facilitates access for illegal loggers and landowners to protected territories. Satellite images reveal the ruthless destruction of forests in the states of Pará, Mato Grosso, and Amazonas. Economic growth without environmental balance turns short-term successes into long-term threats. Against this backdrop, the global electric vehicle market is rapidly being restructured. China dominates every stage of production. Europe is desperately trying to catch up, but has so far failed to achieve China's scale and efficiency. The United States now faces a choice: either urgently rebuild its domestic extraction and processing industries, or lose its position in one of the fastest-growing sectors of the 21st century. But the problem is that such changes require years, and there is almost no time left. China already controls the key elements of the supply chain. The West must act immediately. Otherwise, the electric vehicle revolution will ultimately fall completely into China's hands. The failure of the American strategy is obvious, but is it still possible to catch up with China? The answer is complex. Theoretically, yes. In practice, It would require a reform of trade policy, large-scale investments in rare earth metal mining within the United States, accelerated permitting for new projects, and massive development of battery recycling capabilities. The environmental aspect is also coming to the forefront. The production of green cars cannot be built on the destruction of tropical forests. Without sustainable standards and strict oversight, even the noblest goals will turn into catastrophe. The future demands a new approach, fair, sustainable, and technologically advanced. Brazil also stands at a crossroads. Either it finds a balance between economic growth and environmental protection, or it risks losing what makes it unique: the Amazon rainforest, its biodiversity, and irreplaceable natural resources. Automotive companies must rethink their priorities. Chasing quick profits through cheap raw materials could lead to reputational losses and new risks. Those who commit to sustainable development will become the true leaders of the new world. Brazil's pivot toward China is not an isolated event. It is the new reality. The global balance of power is shifting before our eyes. Share your opinion. Will the United States be able to correct its mistakes, or is it already too late? The future of the green economy is being decided right now.